No matter your age, your plan for retirement can start today. From the News Channel 5 Network, this is the Retirement Report.
Good morning. Welcome to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host, and we're going to be talking about taxes. It's end of the year stuff. We're going to be talking about some things that you can do. Down to it. Maybe by the time many of you listen to this, it may be too late to even do some of the things as far as year end, but it's good. It's a great time to be thinking of preparing for 2017 tax returns tax forms rather that are going to be coming in the mail, your W-2s, your 1099s. You're going to be looking to, there could be errors on those. We see it each and every year that this happens, so we're going to give you some tips on how you can protect yourself there. Second things we're going to be talking about are things you can fix. If you didn't get certain things done by the end of the year, you can still fix those. You can still be okay to where it won't hurt you as far as your taxes go. Now, at the same time, there are some things like Roth conversions, for example. If you didn't get it done by the end of the year, I'm sorry, it's too late. Okay, so that's one of the things. Roth conversions have to be done by the end of the year. The RMD factor, sometimes on that one, most times actually, we can remedy that, and we'll show you ways to do it. We're also going to get into tax tips and some things that are going to be going on for 2017. A great time to plan your taxes for the next year is right at the end and beginning of the year, right? This is when you can get ahead of things. You can start putting things in place. An example, I meet with clients all the time, and we talk about at this time of year and at the beginning of the year, we start structuring where the income streams are going to come from, whether it's going to be from IRAs or other retirement accounts, and how we can minimize taxes. And we're going to talk about the balance between taking money out of your IRAs or your 401ks, whatever it might be, and how you balance that against your income needs and ways that you can still minimize taxes and stay in lower tax brackets. So we're going to share a lot of strategies with you that you can utilize right away. Okay, these are great ways to get your year started off on the right foot. And to help me today is my good friend and special guest, Dr. Friday, with Dr. Friday's Tax and Financial Services over in Brentwood. We have been working together for well over 10 years, right?
Exactly. I like the numbers.
Double 10, maybe. So one of the things that we get into when we're working with clients is that it's a team approach. It's the same thing with estate planning and utilizing a good estate planning attorney. When it comes to taking care of things for taxes, we work together a lot when I'm trying to work with a client and say, okay, let's see if we can do a Roth conversion. I'll call Dr. Friday and we'll say, okay, let's go over how we might be able to do this. Right. What's the, how much can we do a conversion on, and what's the impact going to be, in particular when it comes to Social Security and of course the alternative minimum taxes.
Well,
another one.
AMT tax has surprised us more than once, and that's something that, and also the Social Security benefits, because sometimes when you hit that point where we're usually trying to keep people in a certain tax bracket, yep, when you're converting $1 here, you may be adding another dollar from Social Security, so it becomes a bit of a game for you and I.
Well, and this is one of the things. Explain, for everyone what that alternative minimum tax is about, because this is one of the areas. It's kind of a shadow tax system, right?
It is. It's a secondary tax code within the tax code. The alternative minimum tax basically starts as low as $45,000. The difference is it's not taxed on like ordinary income. It usually comes more with capital gains, Roth conversions, something that's not like a W-2 and maybe your Social Security. So there's a bunch of different things that will come in. It's kind of like the provisional tax code that's used when you're dealing with the Social Security and how much of that's going to be taxed. There are multiple tax codes within what we always call the standard tax code, where people are always quoting 10%, 15%. Well, we've seen it go from 15% to 25% because AMT tax is kicked in, or if you're in the higher tax bracket, there may be the new Medicare tax where you've got the 3.9 or the new capital gains tax of 0.9. So there's a lot of little hidden things that can actually pop you up a little bit in your tax code. So you want to make sure before you make the decision, you go to someone like Hank and make that determination. We've had more than one that's had to backtrack a little bit because they thought they understood what the tax was going to be, and then they found out it's a lot higher than they expected.
Just an example of that can be, I'll sit down and do a Roth conversion, for example. We'll talk about, because this is the thing, tax deferred, your traditional IRAs, they grow tax deferred. Right. What that means basically, when you put the money in, you're able to reduce that taxable income by that amount.
Like
the
that.
Same thing with your 401ks, of course, and tax deferred is good. Postponing taxes as long as you can is usually going to be a good idea. But keep in mind, when when tax deferral, when IRAs and 401ks and company plans, this all goes back to the late 70s and mid 70s actually, and early 80s, that these type of accounts even came into existence. Back then, the tax code, if you made $50,000 a year, you were in a 50% or 49% tax bracket. So if you think about that, it's, yeah, not having to pay 50% tax on something with the thinking that when I retire, my income will be lower and I'll be in a lower tax bracket. And that still can apply today, but we're also at historically low taxes. That same $50,000 income today is only taxed at 15% bracket. All right, so there's a big difference there, and we have to weigh whether it is a good idea to not pay the tax today or, you know, take that tax deferral. And it's an individual situation. The higher your income, normally the better off you're going to be with regard to tax deferral. Now, as good as tax deferral is, we say tax-free is even better. All right, so sometimes if you're in a low bracket and you're only going to be paying 10 or 15% tax anyway, why not just go ahead and pay it with the thought that now in the future when you take that money out, it'll be tax-free. Not only the money you put in, but of course the earnings on that as well. And that's where we do a lot of times Roth conversions. When it comes to estate planning and legacy planning, this can also be a great way if it's money that you know, and you know what, I don't need that money. I'm probably not going to take it. I've got a number of clients that have enough resources to where there's a certain amount there that's probably just going to go to their children, all right, to their beneficiaries. This is another way that they can do Roth conversions, pay a lower tax today, and then for the children, tax-free.
I love that.
Creating a tax-free pension potentially for them. Yeah. Now, understanding this AMT and the other is on Social Security, the impact of how when we're balancing things. Think of this, AMT, alternative minimum tax. What is that saying? It's saying Uncle Sam doesn't, I hate that term. Let me get away from Uncle Sam. Let me say IRS, okay?
Exactly.
Because Uncle Sam almost sounds like it's a good thing.
He's a family member.
Yes, that's right. It's a benign little guy, Sam. Right? Oh, we like Uncle Sam with the big hat and the red, white, and blue and all that. But IRS is not Uncle Sam, right? IRS is not there to help you. IRS is there to get collect as much in taxes. In fact, that's their mandate, to collect as much in taxes, not to show you how to minimize your taxes, all right? This is where the planning part comes in. So when you're looking at how we can do that, understanding alternative minimum tax is an important part, because it's like this shadow tax system. Here's our tax code, and you go through the tax code and your taxes, you minimize taxes, and guess what happens? They say, oh, you're not paying enough taxes. We're going to hit you with this alternative minimum tax just to make sure you pay more in tax.
Exactly.
For high earners and for small business owners, this is one area that you cannot ignore. And I know as a small business owner myself, and of course Friday as well as a small business owner, one of the things that we know is this. We pay a lot of taxes, number one.
Yes.
And the next is tax planning is more important for us. And when you're running your business, when you've got so many things going on at the same time, it's hard to take that break to plan, all right, whether it's for your retirement, business planning in itself, and of course tax planning. And when it comes to tax planning, think of this, 39.6% is the top rate. Add 3.8 then for the Medicare tax, right? Yeah. Anyway, the extra tax, if you will. So now you're up over 43%. Now, guess what? You've got self-employment tax, your Social Security, your Medicare, and you're doubling up on that, so you got about a 15.6 added to that. Now, all of a sudden, you're approaching mid-50s as far as your tax rate goes. It's getting kind of crazy, isn't it?
Kind of a good time to think about a retirement plan, huh? Where you could defer all of that, have an instant 50% growth on what you do defer.
This is the other part of it. Think of that. If you can, and this is the other thing, what kind of retirement plan? IRA, Roth IRA, 401k, Roth 401k. What about a SEP IRA? What's going to work best for you to allow you to get the most tax advantage as well as putting money away for your retirement, besides just the growth of you? A lot of us think, you know, we got a small business and our retirement is our business. We got to think past that, okay? You got to plan better yet, all right? So, all right, that's the start. We're going to get into some more details of ways that we're going to, specifics, in fact, of clients that we've worked with and how we've been able to help them reduce their taxes and hopefully help you reduce yours as well. So join us here. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back on the Retirement Report.